Hey everyone, my name is Wes, and welcome back to another episode of Terror Talk where I discuss creepy clips online. I created this original horror music to add to the video, and I hope you enjoy it. Be sure to leave your own comments, and when you're done watching, check the description if you'd like to listen to my music without the commentary. Now let's get into it and have some fun.
It was my junior year of college. I had moved off campus into a student apartment building. My roommate was sort of assigned to me by the school, in the sense that he was just someone else who needed someone to live with. His name was David, and he seemed like a nice guy at first. He was friendly and polite, always smiling and making small talk. But as the days went by, I started to notice strange things about him, little quirks and odd behaviors that made me feel uneasy. It started with the way David would always linger in my room, asking pushy questions about my personal life and poking.
Did you have a roommate in college? Let me know in the comments below. I never had a roommate in college. Well, I guess I halfway did. I did have to share a bathroom with someone when I was living in LA. But I never had a roommate in college, and I'm really glad I didn't. But let me know in the comments if you did have a roommate in college and if they were super annoying or super weird or creepy.
Looking around my belongings as if he were way too comfortable doing so. At first, I brushed it off as harmless curiosity, even if I found it kind of weird. But the more I thought about it, the more it bothered me. Then there were the sounds I would hear coming from David's room late at night, talking and shuffling noises that were slightly concerning. I tried to ignore them, telling myself it was just David watching TV or talking on the phone. But deep down, I knew something wasn't right. One night, unable to sleep because of the strange noises coming from David's room, I decided to investigate. I crept silently down the hallway and pressed my ear against David's door, straining to hear what was going on inside. What I heard was just weird. It was the sound of David whispering to himself, his voice low and muffled. And then, just as suddenly as it had started, the whisper stopped, and there was nothing but silence. Then I heard, "Jeff?" David said my name.
Wouldn't that be alarming? Like, holy cow. Just to hear your roommate just whispering to themselves like that. And how did he even know he was behind the door? That's crazy. Like, what does he have? Some kind of sixth sense or something? That's just wild.
Did he somehow know I was outside his door? I quickly and quietly tiptoed away from his door and back to my room. I silently crawled back into my bed. I didn't know what to make of this. Why was David talking to himself? Was he hiding something from me? Or was he sleepwalking? But then how did he know I was outside of his room? I couldn't shake the feeling of uneasiness. The next day, I kept thinking about the night before. As the days went by and the sounds from David's room persisted, my paranoia only grew worse. I couldn't shake the feeling that David was hiding something from me. David's behavior also became stranger. I started to notice little subtle changes in his behavior, like he would make strange glances at me, and his movements seemed a little furtive. One night, I woke up at some off hour in the night and heard David's whispering voice from outside in the hallway, like right outside my door. It was genuinely freaking me out.
Oh man, I don't know what I would do if that were to happen to me right outside my bedroom freaking door. Like, damn. Wouldn't that just be super creepy?
And I was wondering if he was sleepwalking. I went to the door and put my ear up against it, and like last time, the whispering stopped. And then, David once again said, "Jeff?" This time I replied and said, "Yeah, you good?" He didn't respond. I just heard his footsteps walk away to his room. The following night, I woke up to the sound of my bedroom door closing. I heard David's footsteps walking away in the hallway. This was getting out of hand. The next day, I decided to confront him about his potential sleepwalking. I told him I'd been hearing him walking around late at night and heard him close my door last night. I then asked him if he has ever been known to sleepwalk or have any kind of sleeping disorders. He seemed to not know how to answer at first, but then he said, yes, he does tend to sleepwalk sometimes. I wasn't buying it though, something was up. I decided to search David's room for answers. I knew it was risky, but I couldn't ignore the nagging feeling that something was wrong. I waited until David was out of the apartment.
When you have a feeling that something is wrong, definitely listen to it. And I agree, it definitely is risky to try and search for answers in someone's room like that. But I don't know, is there any other better way to try and get to the bottom of it? I feel like I would be very inclined to try and search for answers. What about you? Would you search for answers in this situation and snoop through your roommate's room?
Then I crept into his room. I knew that I might not have much time, so I searched quickly, tearing through drawers and closets in search of anything that might explain David's nightly strange behavior. And then, just as I was about to give up, I found it. A small, nondescript drawer hidden at the back of David's closet. I pulled it open, and my blood ran cold at what I found inside. It was a collection of photographs, dozens of them, mostly featuring me asleep and one other guy who looked to be our age, all mixed together. They were taken from different angles and distances, some of them so close up that I could see the pores on my skin and individual strands of hair on my head.
Wow. That would be one of the creepiest things to find, wouldn't it? I don't know about you, but that is like stalker, extreme stalker level status right there. Jesus.
I felt sick to my stomach as I realized what I was looking at. David had been secretly taking pictures of me while I slept without my knowledge or consent. I couldn't believe it. I had been living with some kind of sick voyeur, like he probably got off somehow to these pictures. He had been violating my privacy and invading my personal space for who knows how long. I wanted to confront David, to demand answers, but I was afraid of what he might do, afraid of what he might say, afraid of what might happen if I confronted him alone. So I took a picture of the contents of the drawer, and then took a handful of the photos as evidence to use against David. I packed my things, and the next day, I showed the photos to the department in charge of student housing accommodations, and they told me to let them take the appropriate action. I was lucky and got assigned to a different apartment with a normal person who needed a roommate. I never spoke to David again. Even now, years later, I still can't shake the memory of those chilling photographs, and David's whispering and creeping around at night. I never found out who the other guy in the photos was. It was definitely his old roommate, but I was never able to find his name. But who knows? Maybe he also found out.
Yeah, that's just kind of crazy, isn't it? I don't know about you, but yeah, after that, finding those photos, I would get the hell out of there, just like this guy did. And there are sickos like that out there, unfortunately. And that is why I am happy living alone. I have no desire to get a roommate. I did have a roommate for a period of 2.5 years, and she was my ex, actually. It's kind of a weird story how I lived with my ex after we had broken up, and it was definitely difficult getting on the same page with her. Like, no matter who you move in with, there is a likelihood that it's going to be difficult getting on the same page, and it's just like, God, I don't want that. I'd rather just really hustle my ass up with these different online side gigs than bother with getting a roommate. But sometimes it's unavoidable, unfortunately, but you just really got to be careful about who you move in with. But those are just my thoughts, and I don't really know how do you be careful with that. Like, how do you even get to know someone before moving in with them? 2 hours isn't enough to give an accurate vibe on someone. But let me know your thoughts on that in the comments. How do you get to know someone before moving in with them, or is it even possible? But I thought this was a really good story, a creepy story, and I hope you enjoyed my commentary and the music, and I will see you in the next video.